Yes, my friends, the Philadelphia Eagles are making moves that have fans feeling excited, confused, and even frustrated, all at the same time. The team's direction under general manager Howie Roseman has taken a surprising turn, and today we're diving into the details. But first, I want to hear from you. Do you think Howie Roseman is the best general manager for the Eagles? If you do, hit that like button and drop a comment saying, "Go Eagles, I trust Howie." Now, I know a lot of fans are questioning his decisions. Losing C.J. Gardner-Johnson was a shocker, no doubt. He was a playmaker, a leader, and a game-changer in the Eagles' secondary. In just 2 seasons with the team, he racked up 12 interceptions. That kind of energy and swagger is hard to replace. So why did the Eagles let him go? Many people think it was just about money, but it's much bigger than that. This is about strategy. The Eagles are focused on getting younger, avoiding past mistakes, and setting up long-term success. And here's the twist. If this was only about saving money, why did they offer Justin Reid a deal with $22 million in guaranteed money? That's more than double the $10 million guarantee Gardner-Johnson got from Houston. Clearly, the Eagles weren't just moving on from Gardner-Johnson. They wanted a different type of player for that role. Maybe it's about scheme fit, personality, or long-term planning. Whatever the reason, Roseman had a clear vision. And guess what? He's not done yet. Even after missing out on Justin Reid, the Eagles are still looking for a safety. Some big names have been mentioned. Justin Simmons and Julian Blackmon are both potential targets. Simmons knows Vic Fangio's defensive system, while Blackmon is a younger option with big upside, though injuries have been a concern. But the Eagles' moves go beyond just the safety position. Rumors are swirling that more big trades could be coming. Players like Dallas Goedert, Bryce Huff, and even Jahan Dotson have been mentioned in trade talks. Moving on from Goedert, one of the team's top offensive weapons, would be shocking. But if Roseman is fully committed to a youth movement, nothing is off the table. And speaking of that youth movement, here's something crazy. The Eagles now have 19 draft picks over the next 2 years, including 7 in the first 3 rounds. That's a serious amount of draft capital. It could help them move up in the draft or land top-tier talent for years to come. Could they be eyeing a future star at safety, like Malachi Starks? The pieces are falling into place. No matter how chaotic things seem, one thing is clear. Howie Roseman has a plan. The Eagles are thinking long-term, and the next few weeks could bring even more surprises. So buckle up, Eagles fans. This offseason is just getting started. The Eagles are keeping their key players in place. Jalen Carter, Reed Blankenship, and Cam Jurgens are all expected to get contract extensions. The offensive line remains a big priority, and with Jeff Stoutland's coaching, new additions like Kenyon Green could take a big leap. Even though the Eagles haven't made any flashy free agent signings, they are still one of the best-run teams in the NFL. But here's the big question, Eagles fans. Do you trust the process? Are you on board with Howie Roseman's vision, or do you think this roster shakeup is a mistake? Drop your thoughts in the comments. One thing is clear, this offseason isn't even close to being over. And remember, Howie Roseman isn't just making moves, he's making a statement. While other teams react, he's thinking ahead. Every trade, every draft pick, every decision has a purpose. But the real question is, are we ready to see the bigger picture? The Eagles' strategy is simple. Don't overpay aging veterans. Stack up draft picks, invest in young talent. This is why the team is making bold moves. They're not just filling gaps, they're changing the identity of the team. And if this plan looks familiar, that's because it is. Think back to 2017, the year the Eagles won the Super Bowl. They let go of expensive veterans, added players who fit their system, and built a deep, balanced roster. Now they're doing it again, but this time they're being even smarter, making sure they don't hurt their future in the process. Of course, not every move is perfect. The Kenyon Green trade confused some fans. He struggled with pass protection and run blocking, and he's still a work in progress. But if any coach can turn him into a solid starter, it's Jeff Stoutland. And then there's the running back situation. With Kenny Gainwell now with the Steelers, some fans are wondering if Miles Sanders could return. On paper, a backfield of Saquon Barkley and Sanders sounds exciting. But is it the right move? Probably not. Sanders had a tough season in Carolina, and his contract showed that teams overvalued him. The Eagles need a cheap, reliable backup, maybe through the draft or someone already on the roster. Meanwhile, the secondary is getting a full makeover. Both Darius Slay and James Bradbury are expected to be released after June 1st following the C.J. Gardner-Johnson trade. That's a huge shakeup in the defensive backfield. It's risky, but it's also calculated. Now, let's step back and look at the bigger picture. The Eagles aren't just making these moves for fun. They're setting up for long-term success. They've spent more cash than any other team in the last 10 years, so now they're focusing on financial flexibility. That's why moves like trading Gardner-Johnson or possibly moving on from Dallas Goedert make sense. They're not just freeing up cap space, they're freeing up real money for future moves. I get it. Fans want instant results. They want big-name free agents, huge trades, and exciting headlines. But Howie Roseman isn't playing that game. He's playing the long game, making sure the Eagles stay competitive for years to come. And don't forget, this team is still loaded with talent. Jalen Hurts is locked in as the franchise QB. The offensive line is still one of the best in the NFL. The defensive front is stacked with young stars, and with 19 draft picks in the next 2 years, they can keep adding talent while staying smart financially. So let's take a deep breath and trust the process. The Eagles are building something big. It might not be flashy, it might not be what fans expected, but it's smart and it's built to last. If history has taught us anything, it's this: doubting Howie Roseman is usually a mistake. Now it's your turn, Eagles fans. Do you believe in Howie's vision? Or are you worried that this roster shakeup is too risky? Can this team still compete next season? Or is this just a rebuilding year? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let's break it all down together. 'Cause one thing's for sure, this is just the beginning. That's exactly what makes this offseason so exciting. It's not about what the Eagles are losing. It's about what they're building. The blueprint is right in front of us. The Eagles aren't just trying to win now. They're building a team that can dominate for years to come. But here's the big question: will it work? Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Howie Roseman isn't afraid to take risks. Some of these moves might not make sense right now, but he's playing the long game. He's thinking about 2025, 2026, and beyond. That's why the Eagles haven't rushed to sign replacements. That's why they're holding on to draft picks like they're gold. That's why this team is quietly one of the most dangerous organizations in the league. The Eagles know the secret to long-term success: lock in young talent at key positions. That's how you stay a contender for a decade, not just a season. That's why they're choosing draft picks over expensive free agents. That's why they're making tough decisions now instead of scrambling later. And trust me, we'll be breaking down every move as it happens. So stay locked in, because the best is yet to come. Go Birds!